So broadly speaking, former President Donald Trump has followed two strategies as he defends himself against the 91 felony criminal charges he's facing right now. His first strategy is delay, 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 delay. Delay it long enough, who knows, maybe Trump becomes president again in the middle of all this and somehow makes all the cases go away. So that's his first and most important strategy, delay. Second strategy is claim immunity. Tell the courts that he can't be prosecuted because he was president at the time of his alleged crimes. Well, today, those two strategies came together in a surprising and urgent way. The news comes from the criminal case against Trump that's pending in Washington, D.C. federal court. That's where Trump is now trying to make his immunity argument with a fresh appeal to the federal appeals court in D.C., the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, just a few days ago. Now, the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals should be on your radar, in part because they spent almost an entire year considering the single question of whether Trump could be held civilly liable for his behavior as president around the January 6th attack. It took them ages and ages and ages to rule on that. 11 months and 25 days. They were really in no hurry. And yes, they ruled that Trump could be held civilly liable. It went against him, but it took them a year. And remember, any delay is a win for Trump. So in the criminal case, a slow-moving D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals is a huge danger to the prospect of Trump actually getting into court and being tried anywhere near his trial date any time before the presidential election. So this new move by special counsel Jack Smith today, he's decided to try to go around the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. He petitioned the Supreme Court to just take the case directly, to hurry the process up, to skip the appeals court, in effect. And this is one thing worth noting. The petition to the Supreme Court was co-signed by this special counsel of record, Michael Dreeben. You recognize that name? Michael Dreeben is a prosecutor who served in the Solicitor General's office at DOJ for over 3 decades. He has argued more than 100 cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. You can imagine why Jack Smith might have wanted to add this guy to this part of this case. Well, tonight, the Supreme Court has responded and said they're going to fast-track consideration of whether or not to hear this case. They've ordered Donald Trump to respond by next week, by Wednesday, December 20th. Joining us now is Joyce Vance, former U.S. Attorney in the Northern District of Alabama. Joyce, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Rachel.
Did I understand that correctly? Did I explain any of that the wrong way around?
No, I think you got it just right. Michael Dreeben is the former Deputy Solicitor General who had responsibility for criminal. That makes him a great pick for this case.
Now, Joyce, I know that you worked with Mr. Dreeben. You know him professionally from all your years in federal law enforcement. What should we understand about him other than that line on his resume in terms of his skills, what he brings to this, and why Jack Smith might be using him in this way for this part of this case?
Right. So mere U.S. attorneys, the job that I once held, have to go to the Solicitor General for permission anytime the government wants to take an appeal in a criminal case. Dreeben was in charge of making those decisions, and that means he's considered every sort of criminal appellate situation that could come up. This writ that you're talking about, Rachel, the writ for judgment before the Court of Appeals has considered a case. This isn't something that's commonly used. It's not something that even appellate practitioners are widely familiar with. This is the sort of strategy that you get when you come to someone like Dreeben. And understanding that Trump's strategy is one of delay, you know, now this is Jack Smith's moment where with his new appellate counsel at the table, he's saying, I feel the need for speed, and this is the way to get it.
And Joyce, forgive me the ignorance that is at the heart of this question, but as a non-lawyer, it's my impression that it only requires 4 of the 9 justices to agree to this type of petition, to agree to consider this case. Is that right? And why would they only need a minority?
Yes, you need 4 votes to hear the case. This is pretty standard across appellate courts. It takes fewer votes to get a case heard than it takes to win it. So that's how the process is set up.
In terms of what's likely to happen here, if you had to, looking at the composition of this court, looking at what we know about Smith's case, looking at Mr. Dreeben helming this part of the case, what do you expect to happen in the Supreme Court and over what kind of a time frame?
So, look, it's tough to predict these things. We both know that. But at bottom in this matter is Trump's argument that former presidents are above the law. I don't think the Supreme Court can accept or let stand that sort of a ruling. The Supreme Court has to decide this case. It's what lawyers call an issue of first impression. No court has ever determined whether a former president has immunity for the rest of his life for anything he did while he was president that might be criminal. So there needs to be a decision. But I think that there will be a majority of this court, even if it's a slender one, that will say that criminal prosecution can continue. And the way we know that Dreeben is a great lawyer to argue this case is the way he's framed this petition already, appealing to the core issues that we know this court is very concerned with. The history, the structure, the language of the law is what he's already raised, saying that this is an issue that goes to the heart of democracy. It's fundamental to the future. I think he'll position this case to make it very attractive for the court to rule in Jack Smith's favor.
Joyce Vance, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Clarion, as always. It's great to have you here, Joyce.
Thanks.